I hope I'm audible.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So, good evening, everyone. It is a pleasure to welcome you all to this special online session as we gather even across digital miles to celebrate World Intellectual Property Day 2026, organized by the institution's Innovation Council, Intellectual Property Rights Cell, in collaboration with IQAC of Victoria Institution College. Tonight, the lecture will center around this year's global theme IP and Sports Ready, Set, Innovate. We intend to explore how the legal frameworks of patents, trademarks, and copyrights act as the engine room for the sports industry, driving everything from wearable fitness tech to the global broadcasting of the games we love. We are deeply honored to have with us this evening our respected principal, Dr. Moitri Rekanjilal. Thank you, madam, for joining us tonight and for your constant encouragement in bringing these vital global topics, conversations to our academic community. Our esteemed guest speaker, Mr. Shekhar Guha, we are grateful to you, sir, for your time this evening, and we look forward to your insights on how innovation is reshaping the athletic landscape. IQAC Coordinator Dr. Shumallo Kormokar and IIC President Dr. Madhumita Basu. Your participation at this hour shows is a testimony to your tireless efforts in promoting quality, innovation, and the spirit of inquiry within our institution. My dear colleagues and students, your participation tonight shows a true dedication to expanding our horizons beyond the traditional classroom. I now request Dr. Moitri Rekanjilal, Principal of Victoria Institution College, to deliver her welcome address. Over to you, madam.
Very good evening to today's speaker, Mr. Shekhar Guha, retired consultant, principal consultant, Tata Consultancy Services, my dear colleague and my beloved student. The Intellectual Property Cell of Victoria Institution College, under the aegis of Institution's Innovation Council, in association with Internal Quality Assurance Cell, organized this online session on the World Intellectual Property Day 2026. Intellectual property right. I believe that each and every person has to know their property rights. And in this case, that is the intellectual property right. Each and every student, they have certain innovation, innovative ideas. They are creating certain innovative things. So it should be required to register these so that that should remain your property, that should remain our property. Today's session will get a grand success. I'm very much thankful to Mr. Guho for giving this opportunity to share his insights to the students, and I believe the students and also faculty members, they will be enlightened with the vision and your address to this session. Thank you once again, Mr. Guho, and my dear colleague and the students who have participated.
Thank you,
Thank,
madam.
thank you, ma'am. The honor is all mine. Yes.
Thank you, madam. Now I request Dr. Shumallo Kormokar, IQAC Coordinator of Victoria Institution College, for his introductory remarks.
Very good evening, sorry, to our respected principal, Madam Dr. Moitri Rekanjilal, ma'am. Today's eminent speaker, Mr. Shekhar Guha, sir, the members of the IIC, IPR Cell, my other colleagues, respected colleagues, and of course, my very dear students. Now, it is indeed a great honor to have an eminent speaker like Mr. Guha with us to enlighten us about this intellectual property rights and all those things. And this is a very important thing, a pertinent thing in today's world when you need to claim your baby to be your baby legally, right? And in this age of startups, so you innovate something and then you go into startup. And I think the world is changing these days. And this topic, this property rights, intellectual property rights, these are very much pertinent to today's world. I wish this program a grand success, and without any further delay, I ask Mosumi ma'am to kindly take over the session. Thank you.
I'm sorry. Thank you, Shumallo. I now request Dr. Madhumita Basu, President of Institutions Innovation Council of our college, to say a few words about IIC.
Yeah, am I audible, Moshumi?
Yes, clearly.
A very good evening to our respected Principal Madam, Dr. Moitrey Kanjilal, our distinguished speaker, Mr. Shekhar Guha, my esteemed colleagues, and my dear students. On behalf of Institutions Innovation Council, I once again welcome you all to the celebration of World Intellectual Property Day 2026. The theme this year is IP and sports, ready, set, and innovate. Now, this day is a constant reminder of the power of ideas and the importance of protecting them. Now, at Institutions Innovation Council of VIC, we are under the able leadership of our principal madam, we constantly strive to create a culture of innovation and entrepreneurship within our campus. And we are privileged today to have with us a resource person who is not only an expert in the field of IP, he's also someone whom we warmly regard as a member of our extended family, academic family, Mr. Shekhar Guha, our very own Shekhar Da. So I am confident that today's program will give us an insight into the implementation of IP into our world of innovation and creativity. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Madhumita Di. Now, a few words about our esteemed speaker tonight. Mr. Shekhar Guha is an accomplished strategic business leader with over 3 decades of experience in information technology and intellectual property management. He notably served as the head of the intellectual property services at Tata Consultancy Services, where he spearheaded the organization's IP initiatives encompassing IP protection, promotion, monetization, and compliance. During his tenure at TCS, he was instrumental in strengthening organizational IP capabilities and driving IP policy and thought leadership. An alumnus of Jadavpur University, Kolkata, Mr. Guho holds degrees in mathematics and instrumentation and electronics. His multidisciplinary expertise bridges the gap between complex engineering concepts and global business delivery, making him a recognized expert in global IP strategy, protection, and partner relationship management. At present, Mr. Guho is an independent business and IP consultant. So, without further ado, I now invite our esteemed speaker for today's celebratory activity, World IP Day 2026, Mr. Shekhar Guho, to make his presentation. Thank you, Shekhar Da, once again. Over to you.
Thank you very much. It's a great honor for me to be here tonight, and I really thank all of you. I can see more than 40 or more. I think it must be 50 plus people to come here on a Sunday evening and give up your Sunday evening for this. Really honored for that. And I did make some assumptions about the base knowledge about IP of my audience tonight. So please bear with me on that. And that means I have assumed a varied level of knowledge and expertise in IP, which by which I have assumed the lowest common denominator on which I base my delivery tonight. So some of you may know already the subject that I'm talking about, and some of you surely would find it more interesting and new knowledge would come about. So I have actually planned my delivery for about 30 minutes, if that is fine. It might overshoot by 5, 6, 7 minutes, and then we can have some questions. Is that okay, Madhumita? Sorry, Noshumi?
Yes, absolutely fine with us, Shekhar Da.
All right. Uh, okay. Can I share a screen?
Surely, surely.
Okay. Moshimi, you tell me when you can't see my screen or hear
No, no,
me, will
yeah,
you?
yeah, sure. Your screen is visible and you are audible too.
Okay, great, great. Very quickly, let me begin by briefly touching upon why actually we are here tonight. And many of the speakers before me have, you all have given the overall premise on which we are gathered here tonight. Today is the World Intellectual Property Day, and in my experience in TCS, we used to celebrate this every year, like we are doing it here for Victoria Institution College. And we used to have various kinds of activities. And my experience with that set of activities and the kind of celebrations we used to have has given me some insights, which I think I will be able to throw some light on this evening. Uh, Now, this date marks the coming into force of the World Intellectual Property Organization, WIPO, which is based in Switzerland, convention in 1970. World IP Day was established to highlight how intellectual property supports creativity, supports innovation, and economic development. Interestingly, just a few days earlier, on April 21st, we celebrated World Creativity and Innovation Day. That day focuses on generating ideas, encouraging creativity, and to motivate people to be innovative in general. Whereas, with a slight distinction, but a very important distinction, today the World IP Day focuses on protecting those ideas, as Dr. Kanjiral has said, and I've heard Shumala also say that, protecting those ideas and enabling them to create value. Right. I understand that today's audience would like some deep dive into some subjects and some and but if I go into too much of depth, it might take a long time first, and second, it might bore some of you, and that is not my intention tonight. So I will try to skim over. I will try to get into the subject of sports in a little while, but before that, I would like to talk about general IP, the value of IP, and I'll bring in sports, get into the depth of that, and then get out of sports while still being in the context of sports. I will get into the other aspects of IP before I close. So that is my delivery plan tonight. Excuse me. Sorry. Right. Okay. Now, IP in sports and IP in life. So while today's theme is IP in sports, the principle of IP applied to everyday life, especially in the digital world we all live in, that provides vast opportunities, absolutely huge opportunities of being creative, and that allows innumerable ways to express our creativity. Uh, so even if you're not particularly interested in sports, let's assume that this session is very much about you. In my delivery today, uh, I will encourage you all, especially students, but why especially students? Anyone in this room, in this digital room, to be creators. Okay, so let us understand for that what what means to be a creator. What is intellectual property? It refers to the intangible creations of the human mind. Intangible creations, meaning the intellectual creations. So even if you have an invention, even if you have a patented invention in your hand, let's say your phone, uh, the thing that is protected is not the phone itself, but the idea behind it. If it's a book, the book is not protected, but the story behind it. So what is protected in IP is the intangible creation of the human mind. So that being IP, what is IPR? IPR means intellectual property rights, which are the legal rights granted to protect that creation. So IP is, you could say, a house you build, and IPR is the legal ownership papers and security apparatus and the systems around it that protect it, and that gives you the ownership of it. So that is IPR. So there is a slight distinction, but in common terminology, IP and IPR are used interchangeably. So if I say IP, it usually means IPR, so intellectual property rights. So whenever you hear the word IP, it actually means IPR, right? Many of you, especially the young crowd, you create reels, you share memes, you write something online, articles online, or even content, you forward content on WhatsApp or in any of your social media channels. This means that all of you are creators. All of you are creators. Most people don't realize this. Being a creator also means that you're an owner. So there's an opportunity over there, and there's also a responsibility over there. So these are the two sides of the coin. Every photo you click, every video you make, every idea you express, every sculpture you create, every painting you draw, uh, everything is your creation, and it is your ownership. It is a potential intellectual property. I use the word potential, uh, and you will discover why I use that word a little while from now. So here's the real question. If something you created goes viral, it is something which means that it's a digital content, it goes viral, but your name is not attached to it. Is that success or not? So we'll come back to this in a moment. With or without credit? That is a big question that we need to look at very carefully. Let's take something very familiar. Okay. You create something, someone shares it, someone reshapes it slightly, and suddenly it spreads everywhere. I'm talking about digital content. So that I'm talking about something that people can usually relate to nowadays, uh, so that it's more easily understandable. It spreads everywhere. People are enjoying it. It becomes viral. Now comes the real question. What happens to you? You who are the creator of that. If your video goes viral without your watermark, you know what a watermark is? Your own identity on the video, somewhere in the corner or somewhere in the middle. Actually, should not be in the corner. It should be somewhere in the middle so that it can't be easily edited out. Then it builds your identity. If it goes viral without it, it builds actually someone else's opportunity. So, suppose you create a short, entertaining video, for example, about a comparative study of badminton matches that are played and organized in villages, and then in suburbs, and then onto large cities and international platforms. Suppose you make a video of that. Say this is the way it's played in villages. This is the way it's played in suburbs. This is the way it is played in housings. This is the way it's played in big stadiums and international uh, competitions, and it goes viral. You post it on Insta. Someone downloads it and reposts it. Maybe edits it slightly, and suddenly it spreads everywhere. People are enjoying it. It becomes viral, but your name is missing. There are no watermarks in the video that is your Insta handle. It could be your Insta handle as a watermark. So your name is not there. So if your video goes viral with your watermark, it builds your identity. If it goes without your watermark, it builds someone else's opportunity, like I said earlier, right? And with watermark, there's monetization possible. Without watermark, monetization is lost. The value, by monetization, I mean the value. It could be money, it could be uh, anything else. There's no value realization is possible with a watermark. Without watermark, it is not possible. So intellectual property is what converts creativity into income. So that is the gap. That is where intellectual property begins to matter. If you don't control your content, you don't control the money. Virality gives you visibility, but ownership gives value, right? So we need to keep that in mind. Now we'll see the key insight that visibility does not mean ownership, and ownership is what creates value. So I'll pause on this. It's a very minimalistic visual, but this is a very important visual, kind of a summary of what I said so far. So while you ponder on that for 3 seconds, I'll just have a drink of water. All right. Now, let's go from our phones to the stadium. Right. Let's shift your focus from your phone to the world of sports. In sports, we often focus on players, matches, results. But behind all of that, there's an entire system, a system where content is owned, brands are built, technologies are protected, and rights are enforced. So these are very important things, aspects of sports that we see today. IP is what turns performance into property. All right. Now the sports ecosystem. I'm now coming into sports. Right. When we watch sports, what do we usually see? We usually see three things: players, matches, and results. Okay? But what we don't see is where most of the value actually lies. Behind every match, there's an invisible layer of intellectual property. That is what turns sports into an industry, right? Broadcasting and media rights, that's one. Patents, that's two. Trademarks and branding, that's three. Industrial design, that's four. Protection and enforcement, that's five. So in the visual, you'll be seeing these four with the backdrop of a stadium. It brings in the context. What I will be doing is I'll be focusing on each of them, and to start off with broadcasting and media, I'll give a very short explanation of what these are. And I have deliberately involved a little bit of repetition in this, because you will see this visual again later, but that is intentional to drive home the point. So let's see where it takes us. Broadcasting and media. So let me just click on this thumbnail over here. When you watch TV, when you watch a match on TV or streaming, you're not watching the event directly. You're watching a licensed broadcast. These broadcasting rights are actually built on copyright, the legal right that allows content to be owned, controlled, and monetized. To emphasize, it is important to keep in mind that what we are calling broadcasting and media rights here is actually based on copyright, the legal right that allows content to be owned, licensed, and monetized. Broadcasting rights is the application, copyright is the foundation. Right, copyright is what gives the owner the legal power, right, to control how a match is recorded, shown, and shared. This is very similar to films, but even more valuable because it is live. This is why platforms pay enormous amounts for sports content. And this is where the biggest revenue in sports comes from. For example, Pro Kabaddi League, you will remember, you will know Pro Kabaddi League Star India retained the media rights for PKL from 21 to 25 at around rupees 900 crores over 5 years, that is, which is double the previous cycle's value. And in the case of IPL, which is going on, the 23 to 27, 2023 to 2027 media rights cycle sold for 48,390 crore in total, largely to JioStar and its constituent companies like Disney Star, Star India, Viacom 18, etc. So you can see the amount of money that is involved in it. Because whoever controls the broadcast controls access. And whoever controls the access actually controls revenue. In fact, without broadcast rights, modern sports economics would collapse. It would have been a completely different story altogether. Therefore, in sports, content is not just created, it is controlled. This is also why if you record a clip of a live broadcast game and upload it online, it may actually be infringement. Now, let us move from content to performance. Sorry. Now, think about performance. From high-speed swimsuits, faster shoes, to smarter wearables, better training and equipment, innovation is everywhere. Patents protect these innovations, ensuring that new ideas, once created, can be owned and commercialized. Without patents, innovation would be copied instantly, and investment in better performance would slow down. So, performance itself becomes protected value. Now that we understand the role of patents, let's move to identity, how teams and players become brands. And that is about trademarks. Think about recognition. When you see a team logo, you recognize it instantly. That recognition is not accidental, it's legally protected through trademarks. In sports, identity itself becomes an asset. Teams, leagues, even athletes become brands. Even athletes themselves become brands. Names, logos, signatures, even poses like you see in the visual, that of Usain Bolt, those are protected and monetized. Usain Bolt's signature pose, and he has a slogan also to that attached to that pose, which is to D world. D is DI. So even that is trademarked. So this is how performance becomes personality, and personality becomes commercial value. In sports, performance becomes identity, and identity becomes absolute value for you. So this is very important. Now let's look at something we often overlook: appearance. Where does appearance come in? It comes in industrial design. What players wear, what equipment looks like, also carry value. Design protection ensures that visual appeal is not copied freely, because in sports, style and aesthetics are also part of the business. What looks good often sells. So companies design aesthetically looking products, different looking equipment, and they are protected under design protection. Now, if that is, we understand the aesthetics and design protection aspects of IP, let's look at the enforcement aspect. If there's no enforcement, all that we spoke about earlier will fall flat. So what is enforcement? Piracy happens, fake merchandise, counterfeit, unauthorized streaming, cyber squatting, etc. These are threats. These happen all the time, and because there is value over there, and therefore there are threats. That is why enforcement is critical to protect the entire ecosystem. Without enforcement, the entire system breaks down. That is why legal protection and enforcement is so important nowadays. Uh, and companies spend huge amounts of money. Uh, the various parties who are involved in these transactions spend enormous amounts of money for enforcing these things. Disputes happen. They are often handled between parties. They happen, and they are often they're often handled through courts and specialized system like WIPO arbitration, etc., which we shall briefly have a look later. Now, so let me go back to this screen. So what we really are seeing is this: a match is not just a sporting event; it's a combination of content, technology, branding, and rights. So, intellectual property is what turns performance into property and value. Let's break this down a bit further and understand each type of IP individually. It's the same set, it's the same 5 sets, and I will be going to each of those in some detail. Uh, Broadcasting and media rights. This is where most of the money in sports comes from. The revenue generation, platforms, and licensing models. Under revenue generation, we have uh, aspects like event financing, stadium refurbishment. A little bit of a little bit about some of these. If I go into details of each, it will take the whole evening and the night. So I'll just pick out a few important ones and mention those. What about stadium refurbishment? Media and sponsorship revenue flows back into infrastructure. So, which results in better stadiums, better experience. So, IP monetization literally builds the physical world of sports. What about grassroots development? A portion of IP driven revenue feeds the base of the pyramid, the training, academies, youth sports. So today's broadcast money creates tomorrow's athletes in that sense. So that's what is meant by grassroots development. Now coming to platforms, this is something we all know: television, radio, streaming, and mobile. So I will not get into the details of that. Licensing models are territorial and domestic. The same match is sold multiple times across geographies, maximizing value. So IP allows slicing the world into revenue zones. Okay, time based. We have live, delay, highlights, etc. So the same event, uh, uh, the live rights are premium. The live rights are always premium. Under that, we have highlights. They also bring in a lot of money. Replays create additional revenue layers. One event and multiple monetization windows. Right. Let's go to the next one, patents. What do we have under patents? Inventions protected. These relate to innovation. So, advanced equipment. Innovation improves performance, and patents protect that advantage. Better gear equal to better sports equal to higher economic value. High tech materials and devices is another example. Sports drinks, supplements, those innovations in those are coming in and they are protected. Now, what are the requirements of patents? Uh, uh, this is not necessarily focused on sports, but this is overall a requirement of patents is novelty, inventive step, and utility. A little bit the most novelty is very easily understood. It has to be new. If it's already known, then it's not protectable. Newness is the entry ticket for something to be patented. Inventive step, it must not be obvious. This is the area which is the grayest area of the patentability requirement, uh, because there is an element of judgment in it. as to what is obvious and who is it obvious to. Uh, it says that it should not be obvious to a person who is an expert in the state of the art. Now that is a statement. It's a documented statement. It's in the law, in the patent law, but it falls short of saying how do you know or how do you measure that a person is skilled in the art. But let's not go into that debate. Let's come back and understand what inventive step means. Inventive step means it has to be a little bit an improvement on top of what was there earlier. It must not be obvious, right? It should not be minor tweaks. For example, water bottle with a built-in phone holder. We have a phone holder. It has a patent. It is a known artifact. Water bottle is a known artifact. Someone came and attached a phone holder to the top of the bottle and wants to claim a patent for it. So, is it novel? Yes, it is novel. It's new. Nobody ever thought about that. So, is it inventive? No, anybody could do that. So that is the intangible judgment that comes in. If I, as an examiner of the patent, feel that that is very obvious, just putting one and two together, and then you have a new thing. It is not inventive at all. It's very obvious. So although it is novel, it's new, but it's not inventive enough. All right. Very interestingly, an example would be a rubber eraser at the tip, at the back tip of a pencil. Now, this was patented by Hyman Lipman in 1858. And the US patent was given for it because at that moment it was not considered obvious. But it was later invalidated in 1875 by US Supreme Court because because of obviousness. So it did not warrant, it did not pass the retest of non-obviousness. And they did not have the term back then, 1875, but they used a different term. But in essence, it was the same thing. It was invalidated. The patent was given in 1858. The patent was revoked or invalidated in 1875. So I hope this is one of the most difficult requirements to understand of patentability, but I hope I have given two examples to explain that. So let's go forward. Utility. It must always work and it should be of industrial utility, right? So because IP protects, patents protect useful ideas, not just clever ones. It's very clever. Let's say something is very clever, but who would use it? One example could be, and we used to bring up very novel, inventive ideas like I want to develop something, a cape, a flowing cape, which has jets in it, so that it will once I activate those jets, it'll take the cape up and give me a very different kind of look on the streets. Like that's novel, that's inventive, but is it of utility? No, there's no utility of it. So it will fail patentability requirements, right? Now, WIPO, Patent Cooperation Treaty, is something that allows patents to be globally filed because patents are territorial. If I file in India, it's protected. My patent is protected in India. If I think that I want to market this in the US, I need to protect this in the US. But WIPO PCT, the Patent Cooperation Treaty, gives me a way to file once but cover multiple countries. But there are nuances to that. So we'll get into that. We will not get into that at the moment. We will skim that for the moment. Okay, so now let's spend some considerable time on inventive steps. So let's go back to trademarks and branding. What are the things underneath? There is logos and symbols, then athlete names and poses we talked about, club identities, then sponsorship, team sponsorship. Brands pay to be seen with teams. Visibility is monetized trust. IP ensures only official partners get that privilege. And then athlete endorsement is there. Brands lend money. IP structures this exchange through licensing. So licensing comes in, right? Event tiers, like there's a FIFA model, different levels of access and different pricing. So IP enables structured monetization at scale. Merchandising and licensing. Fans buy identity, not just products. So IP ensures only authentic goods capture that value. Now let's go to the industrial design quickly. And you see the repetition I was talking about, because I just wanted to drive home the point. So this protects how things look and aesthetics and visual appeal, aesthetic footwear and apparel, and the Hague system, which is again like the PCT, is one design filing and protection across various countries, because fashion in sports is global and industrial design is more about fashion and looks than anything else. Let's talk about protection and enforcement now. Uh, what are threats? Threats are like signal piracy, which is illegal streaming, directly destroys revenue. And if everyone watches free, then nobody pays. So that's signal piracy. Ambush marketing, brands try to look like sponsors without paying. Right? Somebody in the field holds up their business placard or whatever, flyer or whatever, buy my coffee. So that guy gets some publicity without paying for it. So that's ambush marketing. Counterfeiting, fake products steal both revenue and reputation. IP is the only defense against imitation. Cyber squatting. So suppose I create a portal which is www Sachin Tendulkar 123.com. People look up that portal and see, hey, this is Sachin's portal. They click on it and they go to my website. So I'm misdirecting them. I'm misrepresenting Sachin Tendulkar's name. So that is called cyber squatting. So things like that. Then we have dispute resolution, ADR, which is alternate dispute resolution model of WIPO for fast and neutral resolution, because sports cannot wait for courts. Some of the things that WIPO enables is like domain name disputes, expert determination, etc. So now we went deeply into sports. Let's come back to you. We just saw the billion-dollar industry ecosystem of sports, but that is not it is not as far from you as it seems. It's not far at all, because every time you do something creative, write something, record a video, as we saw earlier, you are actually participating in the same intellectual property ecosystem. The scale is different, but the principles are exactly the same. A cricket broadcast and your Instagram reel, both are content. Both can be owned, both can be monetized. The only difference is whether you understand that and act on it. The hidden cost. And the cost I'm talking about is in terms of the missed opportunities. And that is a big cost, because that is an uncomfortable truth. Most people create, but very few people capture the value of what they create. And what happens to that value? it doesn't disappear. No, there is value created. It simply moves to someone else. You lose that opportunity. Just think about that. And the difference is not talent. There's talent everywhere. It is awareness of how to own something that you have created through your talent. Now, your positioning in this ecosystem, where do you come in? Let us take this one step further. Whatever you become or you already are, a researcher, a teacher, a professional, an entrepreneur, you will create something valuable every day, starting tomorrow. And IP will decide whether you control that value or someone else does. So, one final thought before we go into questions, that what we saw in sports today, broadcasts, brands, innovation, ownership, is not limited to stadiums or athletes. The same principles apply to everything you create in your studies, in your work, in your digital lives. A game may last, say, 90 minutes, but the value created lasts for years and sometimes decades. In your life, what you create may take minutes, but its value depends on whether you understand it, own it, and derive value from it. Now, I've got a very busy looking visual, but it's not meant to be read out, which I can share separately. But this is about do's and don'ts. I'll just pick out a few from here. Like, sorry. That's me trying to be too clever. Sorry about that. Uh, the do's, one of the do's I've written is you can create original content. You can make fan art, memes, analysis videos, commentary, no problem. Reviews and podcasts, no problem at all. As long as it is transformative, original. It has to be original, right? You share responsibility on social media. Post your own photos and or videos with your own commentary, especially when short, incidental, and non-commercial. So there are things that you can do, but there are some things that you need to be aware. You should try to avoid. Don't re-upload match footage. You could have taken videos of that. You can share it amongst your close friends. You have to be careful when you share it, because those are protected. Broadcasts are protected. You should not violate full matches, long clips or highlights taken from TV streaming, uh, because that violates broadcast rights. Now, let's take another one of these. Don't misuse logos and brands. Don't use team logos, names, or player images or merchandise or for selling products, because it violates trademark rights. So there are a set of things here that are do's and don'ts. I thought it would be useful to include that. There are some gray areas also, because it depends. Gray areas are within quotes, it depends. Short clips for commentary or analysis may be allowed under fair use, fair dealing. Memes are often tolerated, but not always legal. Fan pages are okay unless monetized improperly. There are various handles like uh, United Fans Club. So you can create a handle and you can talk about your club. So those are fan pages. The golden rule is, if you're adding value, you're safer. If you're not, if you're just copying, then you're at risk. Now, I've taken a lot of time. I would love to have questions now. This is my last slide. I'll keep this. And this, I've kept some representative questions just to instigate, just to prod the audience as to what could be a question that I might ask, that you might ask. So I'll pause here. Moshmi, if you can.
Yes, sure, Shakoda. And thank you so much for your presentation. Now, I would request our audience to come up with questions or inquiries if you have any. Our resource person would be happy to address your questions. Any questions? Students, teachers?
I think if a question, or let me do something. I'm
Yeah.
sorry if I was interrupting
No, no,
someone.
that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Please go
Uh,
ahead.
does IP matter for my career? This one is for students. So if anyone would like to answer that, and if you get it wrong, I'll be happier because that will be some learning. Does IP matter at all for my career? We have talked about many things. We have talked about sports. To sports need not be your career. Creating memes, creating online content may not be part of your career. But does IP matter to you? So that is the question I would like to pick. If anyone would like to answer that, and I think it'll be better if people get it wrong. Then we'll all learn from it.
স্টুডেন্টরা কেউ উত্তর দেবে? স্যার যেটা জিজ্ঞেস করলেন, কারোর যদি কিছু মনে হয় তাহলে কিন্তু উত্তর মানে বলতে পারো, মানে আলোচনার মধ্যে দিয়েই আমরা সবাই শিখি, কাজেই ইউ ক্যান অলওয়েজ কাম আপ উইথ দ্য রেসপন্স ইউ
Yeah,
হ্যাভ ইন ইউর মাইন্ড.
yeah. I will not answer that question by myself, just to make my point. Only if someone tries to answer it, I will respond.
এনিবডি?
I think I covered it very efficiently.
নো নো, you have absolutely have.
Excuse me, may I?
Yeah, sure, দীপান্বিতা দি,
আমার
please
একটা
go ahead.
আলাদা প্রশ্ন আছে যে when thank you very much for the area you have thrown the light upon. We are not actually, at least I am not very acquainted with. I don't know in this detail. I have just one question that is talked about refurbishment and grassroots something, some contribution from. So when so it will help to create value in future, I think.
Yes.
Is it? So does it happen in India? Or if it doesn't, are we losing some value there?
Uh, um, I think this is a broad question, and the answer I would say is yes, because money flows in. But you might, it's a debatable thing as to how much portion should be flowing in, and how much portion actually flows in. So that is a different kind of a debate, Dipanatari. So I think you want to. But if your question is whether or not at all it flows back, I would say definitely it does.
Okay. Okay. The question is the proportion. I mean, I think
Yeah,
in a
yeah, yeah.
huge
Absolutely.
country like India, how
Absolutely.
much we are really getting
Yeah.
as value for future.
Yeah, absolutely. So those are debatable points, and those need to be addressed. But this presentation, just wanted to set the ground rules as to what I mean.
It really is known like we are introduced খুব মানে একেবারে অন্যরকম. I at least have no idea about it. আর স্টুডেন্টদের কেরিয়ার কেন বড়দের কেরিয়ারও কি হতে পারে না because just because it is digital?
Absolutely. I no my the reason for why I asked students was to instigate them to get involved in it. Because if I had known you were there in the audience, Dipanditadi, I would have said anybody who is a student should. I mean, it's only limited to students. But I'm just kidding.
Okay.
It's
Thank
good.
you. Thank you so much.
Any question from any other faculty member or students? If you don't, I have I have two questions actually.
Yeah.
If there are no other questions, I'll put them forth.
Okay.
Okay, so I assume there are none, but anyways, if anybody raises a hand, I'll definitely take a step back. So my first question to you is: see, there are a number of performance recorders. I mean, gadgets which
Yeah.
record athletic performances, which are hitting the sporting industry like a storm every day. So, and they are generating a lot of performative data. Performative data, huge number of data analytics, everything. My question is that data that is being generated on a daily basis, and this data is in turn, setting up new benchmarks for sports performances. Is this data Does this data fall under IP legality? And if
Of
it
course.
does, who owns it? Is it the company which is manufacturing those gadgets, those tech gear, or does it belong to the sports person
It
concerned?
does not belong to anyone unless it's agreed. It usually is an agreement between the sports persons and the data collector, which means the event organizers or the. It's usually not the equipment developer or equipment manufacturer. It's usually the entity that controls the equipment or owns the equipment, which is usually the case of the event organizer. What they do is they have an understanding and they have a licensing and legal agreements with the device manufacturer itself, that any data collected through this device will be my IP. And if it's about a particular play, if there's a player angle involved in it, there'll be a share of that in agreement with the player, and if the player is okay for not taking any stake in it, so it's all a matter of agreement. There's no one answer to that. So it's all agreement based,
All right,
right?
all right, all right, all right. My second question is, the entire regime of IP, the idea of IP, it has also been criticized by a group of scholars, practitioners, legal practitioners, that IP, the entire legality, the legal framework, is also perceived by some as a barrier to entry. So, I mean, are there any ways to, encourage innovation for grassroots athletes who spring up from country like ours, uh, and not just the top 1% of the billion-dollar franchisee? Are there
So
ways?
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So the related question that I might have over here is number two: can students file patents? It's related.
Yeah,
Can students file patents? Filing and registration are costly affairs. So when you talk about individuals who do not have the financial means to actually register, uh, uh, entities like organizations, institutes, companies, they need to come forward and support such endeavors. They need to finance, they need to fund, and they need to support these people. Otherwise, it just goes waste, and in many cases they are stolen. In many cases they are stolen. There are very innovative people. Our rural folk are very innovative. They do not have the means. They cannot experiment so much because they don't have the means to experiment.
right.
But you would see a lot of innovation and innovative ideas coming out from there. But unfortunately, someone takes a video, someone else builds on it and
Mm,
claims it. So
yes.
it's lost, it's stolen in that sense. What? But you talked about a debate. You talked about a debate about whether IP actually instigates or helps innovation. That is a different,
Yeah,
slightly different thing. So I can address that as well. So I consider that to be a different part of the question.
mm,
My question, my answer to that is yes, definitely. If you create something very innovative today, if you write a book today and you fail to protect it because you're not aware of that, then there's nothing. as disappointing as that. It's your creation, someone else's claims it, right? I could be altruistic. I could be super altruistic, saying that I have done this for the world. I have done this for the sports community. I'm so helpful, which is fine to an extent. But the moment you see someone else comes in and claims, "Hey, I created that," you will feel a tinge of pain. However altruistic you are, you will feel that I should have protected it. So that is the and if protection comes in, the more innovations are protected, the more people are encouraged to innovate because they know that I can protect it. My innovation can be protected. So that's the two sides of uh, the two sides of the question that I tried to answer.
Okay. Thank you, Shekhar. A student of ours, actually, she has a question. Her name is Mohadrita Torufda. She's from the Department of History, semester 6. Actually, she is the one who is in charge of the online broadcast, which is being done on YouTube, IIC's YouTube channel. So she has a question since she is not being able to pose it herself because she is busy with the technicalities. She has forwarded it to me. I'm reading out her question. She has texted me. ওর প্রশ্ন হলো যে she is a wildlife photographer. She has started her thing. So ও জিজ্ঞেস করছে যে ম্যাম অ্যাজ এ ওয়াইল্ড লাইফ ফটোগ্রাফার ধরুন আমি একটা ট্রিপে গিয়েছি, সেখানে একটা টাইগার সাইটিং হয়েছে, অনেকে একই রকম ফ্রেমস পেয়েছেন, তাহলে সেটা সেটা তো রেয়ার ফটো বা এক্সক্লুসিভ হলো না, তাহলে আমি আমার ফ্রেমটাকে কিভাবে কপিরাইটের জন্য সিকিউর করতে পারি? এটা ওর
Okay, that's a good question. Uh, Copyright is an interesting protection. Copyright does not need automatic. Sorry, I should say copyright does not need specific or um, official registration to be effective. Once you create something, if it is in your camera, it does not have a digital footprint. If you create a digital footprint of that, and Mohadita, if you can hear me, you post it somewhere, you email it to a friend, there is a digital footprint that it creates. So automatically it creates a copyright for yourself. But if you go one step further and you register a copyright in the Copyright Office of India or wherever in the world, copyright offices, you have an additional layer of protection around it. In case somebody comes up with the same photograph and claims that, hey, this is my photograph, you're using it for commercial purposes, you have posted it on this is my photograph, you have all the digital claims, digital footprint to say that no, so this is mine. You could have taken the photo from the same angle, it could be your photo, you deal with it. I am making my own content, this is my set of photographs. There's no problem with that. So there are two sides of that. One is you need to be you need to create a digital footprint first. Then you need to you don't need to, but you can also additionally register it in the register in the Copyright Office. That is not necessary, but it provides a additional legal protection in case there's an infringement and there's a case. And now, if you just have a digital footprint and there's a case, you can win. You will win because you have a digital footprint, but it takes longer. It will take shorter if you have it registered. So I hope I'm clear about that.
I think so. She has not texted me further. Yeah, and she if she has any other query, I'll ask her to
Yeah,
mail it to you or get in touch with you in some
of
way.
course.
Any questions? Any other questions? Okay, so I don't think so. We have any more questions. So we are about to wrap up. And as we conclude this enriching session, it is my distinct honored to propose the formal vote of thanks for today's celebratory activity. First and foremost, we extend our deepest gratitude to our guest speaker, Mr. Shekhar Guha. Sir, thank you for such an insightful, sharp, and comprehensive lecture.
My welcome.
Your ability to navigate the complex intersection of intellectual property and sports provided us with a literal masterclass. We owe a debt of gratitude to our principal, Dr. Moitrire Kanjilal, for her unwavering support and for fostering an environment where such intellectual discourse can thrive. Our sincere thanks also go to the IQAC coordinator, Dr. Shumallo Kormokar, president of IIC, Dr. Madhumita Basu, convener of IIC, Dr. Shulagna Pradhan. Their unstinted cooperation and guidance is is a rarity these days. So thank you, dear colleagues and students. Your active participation and presence, and looking at the numbers, sticking at 50 at the end of the session is a thing to be, it's really very, is a wonderful sight to behold. and um, Now, coming to the organizing team, a special mention for the organizing team, the IPR Cell, members of the IPR Cell for being such a wonderful team, working tirelessly behind the scenes. And in particular, I would like to acknowledge the seamless technical execution of this program. Our heartfelt thanks, my personal note of gratitude to my colleague Dr. Shudip Kumar Sinha for his constant technical supervision, my very dear student Mohadrita Torofdar, who is also our social media students coordinator, for ensuring everything ran smoothly on the digital front. Thank you all once again for being part of today's celebratory event. Thank you.
Are we then logging out?
Yeah, we are logging out. Thank you,
Shekhar
Shekhar.
Yes, please.
খুব ভালো লাগলো
Thank you.
একদমই না জানা একটা প্রায় বিষয়, সেটা নিয়ে জানলাম, খুব ভালো লাগলো, যে খুব ইন্টারেস্টিং।
Thank you very much.
স্টুডেন্টদের সঙ্গে খুবই ভালো লেগেছে, তবে ওরা যা হয় একটু লজ্জাটা ওদের কাটাতে সময় লাগে,
Sure.
ওদের কাছেও একটু নতুন জিনিস হলো। থ্যাংক ইউ ভেরি মাচ।
Thank you very much. Thanks for your words. Bye. Good night.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Logging out.